is density? Density is a measurement of mass per volume. The unit that we will be using mostly will be kilograms per cubic meter or grams per cubic centimeter. As I said, density is the measurement of mass per volume, which means the equation will be mass over volume. You can see it on the screen. It will be density equals mass over volume, or M over V. So, what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Unlike weight, which is dependent on gravity, mass will always be constant. And we will measure it in grams, or G. Volume. What is volume? Volume is the amount of three-dimensional space occupied by a liquid, gas, or solid. And below you can see some different three-dimensional spaces that will all have different volumes. The units we will use will be liters, cubic meters, gallons, and cubic centimeters. So, when we place something that has a different density than water, which has a density of 1 gram per cubic centimeter, we can see if it has a higher or lower density depending on if it sinks or floats.
It floats. It floats.
What do you think will happen if it has a higher density than water? Again, a higher density than 1 gram per cubic centimeter. Do you think the object will sink or float?
It sinks. That means it has a higher density than water.
Let's look at some example problems. If you have a rock with a mass of 15 grams and a volume of 45 cubic centimeters, what is the density? And will it sink or float? Of 15 grams and a volume of 45 cubic centimeters, what will be the density? Again, we know density equals mass over volume. So we'll take the mass, 15 grams, over 45 centimeters cubed, which will give us 0.33. Will this object sink or float? If you have a rock that is 15 centimeters cubed and a mass of 45 grams, what is the density? Will the rock sink or float? We have a rock with a volume of 15 centimeters cubed and a mass of 45 grams. We know that density equals mass over volume. So, we know our mass is 45 and our volume is 15. That means that our density will be 45 divided by 15. So far, we've only looked at a liquid and a solid to determine if it has a higher or lower density. Now we are going to look at liquids. If we take two liquids, can we find out if it has a higher or lower density depending on if it sinks or floats?
This is honey. Let's see if it sinks or floats. As you can see, it sinks to the bottom. Does that mean it has a higher or lower density than water? That's right. That means it's a higher density than water. Now let's try oil. Look at that. All the oil is on the top, so it floats. Does that mean it has a higher or lower density than water?
Thanks for watching, and remember, there's a link that has some example problems to solve density.